Alrighty, guys, I'm Morthadon, and we are back for Reincarnated as a Slime, episode 23. So we only have this episode and one more, and then I'm going to do both of the OVAs, just because I know from the other reaction channels I watch, a lot of you guys love to see reactors do the OVAs as well. So I decided I'd do them just so I get them out of the way now, so it's not something that's asked for later. And I really don't like going back and watching OVAs because they're usually silly and fun, and you really want to be still connected to the characters and caring about the world and everything when you watch those kind of OVAs. And I don't want to, like, a year from now have like a comment being like, you should have done the OVAs for this show, and like go back and do it. So I decided I'd just do them now, even though no one has really asked for it. But I figure it's only 2 weeks worth of OVAs, and then we'll be moving on to the new show. Not a big deal. Anyways, guys, so last episode on Reincarnated as a Slime, we had an introduction of the Queen of Spirits, I believe it was, who is also like the like labyrinth, like I forget the name, like the Queen of Labyrinth. I don't think it was that, but she was also a demon lord. She was a very quirky character, very interesting, very energetic and funny, but also could be very annoying at times. It was a very interesting opinion I had on her, because there's a lot of things I thought were hilarious, but then there's other things like why. But it was a lot of fun meeting her and everything, and now we seem to be at the point where we're summoning spirits. We're going to be getting close to saving the kids. Maybe we'll actually save them this episode. I think I've said that almost every episode, but I'm kind of hoping we do, because I'd love to see the final episode of the series be like them back at the town, everybody coming together again, maybe Millum returning, and everyone being like happy and ready to continue on their adventure, rather than having the next episode be where the kids are saved and we don't get to see the town again. And also, they've been gone a long time, so that gives us an opportunity to go back to the town and see some drastic changes in like the architecture. That's the word I was looking for, which would be really cool as well. Because I think, well, I don't know. I just wonder, like, how close to Japan they're gonna get, because you want to make this place a Japan-like world, right? So I'm just wondering if we're gonna see some, like, obviously not skyscrapers yet or anything, but I wonder if we're gonna start to see a little bit more, like, modern stuff being taken off or something when we get back. But also, Rim is the one that mainly knows how to do, like, knows modern technology from our world, so that might not happen. Anyways, I'm rambling too much about this. Let's just jump into the episode, shall we? Alrighty, guys, so like usual, down in the description down there's going to be a link to the reaction. You guys can click that, and you guys can watch the reaction there. As soon as you're done, you can come back here for the discussion portion here on YouTube. So go ahead and click that link right now, guys. So that is the end of episode 23, guys. That was... So, sorry about that towards the end there. That threw me for a loop. I was so confused because I messed up on, when I did my Steins Gate Zero reaction. I messed up, and the last episode was actually, one earlier than I thought it was. And the final one, the way my episodes were numbered, was an OVA, and I didn't realize that. So I didn't do a full talk about the series, because that's, I'm hoping whenever I finish this show, I can do like a decent discussion of what I thought of it as a whole, looking at it from a season 1 completed, or whatever show it is, however many seasons it is when it's over. I'd like to do a decent talk about it like that, and at the end of the final episode. And I didn't realize that for Steins Gate, so I didn't want to mess up again and find out that 24 is like an OVA for this show. But the official posting of the show on my anime list says 24 episodes, so even though this felt like a final episode, there is one more, according to this, so luckily I did not mess it up. But to talk about this episode, I really enjoyed it. I'm glad they kind of sped up a bit on the saving the kids, because I will admit, it didn't really bore me, but it just wasn't as interesting when the story slowed down a little bit, because we had like a lot going on that only like took, an episode or maybe two episodes. And this just felt longer, like we got with the kids and we like met them all and everything, and then we talked about how to save them and train with them for a little bit, and then we trained with them for a little bit more, and then found out some info, and then we went to the place that we were gonna find out or like gonna do the thing, and then we finally did the thing. It, as like the arc went on, it felt like intentionally dragged on a little bit, but I mean I did really like each individual episode, but I did find myself thinking, like, we didn't really make it anywhere this episode, though, But that being said, I really appreciated the fact that we kind of sped through this, and then after saving all the kids, we had, a little bit of recap and a little bit of, like, where are they now kind of stuff. So I'm wondering what they're going to do next episode since they did that, But regardless of that, let's talk about I guess the biggest one, because they created spirits except for Kenya, I think his name was, because he called him Ken as short. Got a spirit that already existed, so that's interesting. But he seemed like a very nice guy, nice spirit anyway. They might not be gender, whatever. The spirit seemed nice and went into him and saved him, so that's pretty cool. That's what I wanted to see. I didn't want Rim just to create a bunch of them out of particles. I wanted to see some personality ones show up. And then we had that one with immeasurable power that apparently came from the future to be reborn. And that makes me wonder if it's something like my theory is, I guess it's probably the obvious one that everyone thought of. The hero that was with Shizu, we haven't seen much of her, we don't know much about her or anything. But I'm thinking that maybe sometime in the future, she sends her spirit back in time to be reborn or something when she's, like, about to die, so her power can live on. And maybe it's, I hate to reference this, but it is kind of similar. Maybe it's something like, My Hero Academia with, All Might's power. I don't want to spoil anything too much, so I'm not going to go into depth about that, but maybe it's similar to that. I shouldn't even have brought it up. It's hard to talk about without spoiling that kind of thing. But anyways, so I do wonder if it is the future hero. It. I don't know who else it could be that we've seen so far, so if it is someone else, and, I mean, it showed us that image this episode, didn't it? Like, it showed Shizu, and then it showed that hero lady, and then it, like, the opacity filter, like, went down to reveal the spirit, like, lined up with that hero's face as well, and Veldora, like, freaked out. So, I mean, unless they're trying to debate us, I feel like that's pretty obvious that they made it pretty clear, So, I guess, I don't know why I treated it like it was a theory. It's pretty much what the show was telling us. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to, like, pretend I came up with that on my own or anything. But that's just interesting that she's that powerful. Like, we knew she was strong because they mentioned she was stronger than Shizu. So she's strong enough that she could potentially, and maybe she's, like, continuously getting stronger, kind of like Rim as well, and at some point in the future she sends herself back. But if she's the hero, then why would that be a bad thing? That's what I'm wondering. Why did the Queen of Spirits say that this is bad, If she's a hero, I mean, maybe it's bad for Chloe. I don't know if eventually that spirit would be able to fully possess Chloe and take on, like, mental control and control her actions and essentially be the hero reborn, and Chloe's personality is just, like, gone. That would be bad for Chloe, and that would be, like, kind of an evil thing to do, even if you're doing a lot of good in the world as a hero. But we also have to take into account that this show does a very interesting thing where it doesn't always do the hero villain thing like we think it does, right? Like, a lot of the demon lords seem like pretty good people. So who's to say the heroes aren't really bad people, you know? So it's just, it's an interesting line that I just drew in my head right there, that, like, just because they're called a hero doesn't mean everything they do is good. So, I actually love that idea that the hero isn't as good as we think she is. But yeah, I don't know. It's very, very interesting. Hopefully, whatever happens in the future doesn't just like kill Chloe because of it. Because Rim seemed very carefree, and I'd hate for Chloe to suffer for Rim's friggin' like just lack of caring and lack of like motivation to deal with something right away. You know. There was one thing I wanted to go back and look at, because I did make a slight mistake when I was looking up the episode thing, and they did the guy Leon summoned. I want to reread what he said real fast. I'm right here. What a horrible blunder. You finally summoned me, and my own family got ahead of me while he's looking at Rim. Interesting. Next time, without a doubt. Huh. Alright, so yeah, it was just that family got ahead of me line that I missed last time. Because I was looking that crap up. That was my bad. So that's interesting. Now maybe that's a red herring that he's looking at Rim when he said my family got ahead of me. But man, like, I don't even know, my brain's racking with like what that could mean, because if he just appeared in that world, what does he mean ahead of him? Does he mean because Rim like owns a city compared to what he did in his own life, you know, if it is say like Rim's brother? I don't know. I don't understand, really. Unless it has something to do with Shizu's family or something, and that's why he's looking at Rim. I don't know. I mean, or it's all of that having to do with Rim is just a red herring, and he's really Leon's family. No idea. Very curious, though. Unfortunately, we're not going to find out unless they do another season, because I'm pretty sure in the next episode they're not going to go into depth about that guy unless they blow through his story very quickly. But that was interesting. I really did like to talk more about it, I really did like the recap that they did this episode. It was really cool seeing the beginning stuff. I always like that in shows that can do it well. I don't like a full episode of recap, but that was just like, 2 or 3 minutes, I'd say, uh, just guessing at the length, of flashing through everything that happened in the show, and that kind of thing is really cool. And then the Where Are You Now with the outro song, it's really cool. Those are some aspects of anime that I really like, because if you're binging a show, you probably don't care about that, right? And I used to be that way. But now that I'm watching shows one episode at a time going through, and it's been, 23 weeks since I watched this episode, that's a decent amount of time, right? That's almost half a year, right? There's 52 weeks in a year, right? Yeah, so coming up on it, I guess, sorta. That's a There are 52 weeks in a year, right? That seems damn. Seems like I watched a show for less time than that. Wow. Anyways, the that still sounds wrong to me. I don't know. Crazy. That it's gone by so fast that it seems so wrong to me. Time's been flying for me, guys. Anyways, regardless of all that, after you watch this show one episode at a time each week, it's cool to go back and see everything again, towards the beginning, because it has been a decent amount of time since the beginning. Granted, I do, I'm not... My memory is bad, but it's not that bad to the point where I don't remember a lot of those key moments. But it still just feels good to me to see it. I know there's a lot of you that probably don't like that kind of thing, but I did. Anyways, I don't think I really have much more to say about this episode. It was very interesting. It definitely set up a lot of plot lines for the future, kind of like a read the manga kind of thing in case the show didn't get enough funding to do another season. But I'll talk more in depth about the show in its entirety after the next episode, because that's when I'll really go in depth about how I felt about the entire show and all that and whatnot. But as for this episode, really good, and I look forward to what the last one brings. And then, yeah, so after the next one, I'll do my decent talk about the show's entirety, and then I'll watch the 2 OVAs. Because I won't do the big talk on any of the OVAs, just because there's a lot of you that might appreciate that I did the OVAs, but then I'm sure there's also a lot of you that don't even care about OVAs and won't watch it, So I want to make sure that all of you get to see the big talk kind of thing. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I think I'm going to call it there. Hope you enjoyed. And if you want to support the channel, you can hit that subscribe button. You can also check out the description for a link to my Patreon, where you can become a patron and get access to full length, which it'll be like a timer-based kind of thing, where you can see the full episode of all my reactions, now and in the future and in the past. All of the ones I've done on my channel are full length, in every single one, which is awesome. So, and you get access to all of those, like, prior ones, too. So, if you decide you want to watch, catch up on my Boruto reaction or something, you'd be able to watch full length on all 57 episodes of that and all that. So, pretty cool stuff. And then early access will allow you to see the next episode ahead of time. Once again, for all of my shows, I do that. So, keep that in mind. And I very much appreciate it if any of you guys do decide to support me. It helps me with what I do here. And, I just very much appreciate it. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.